the almighty warrior of the female president. Please like, share, and subscribe. Episode 41. Beauty Trap? After finishing the tedious tasks such as onboarding, it was already past 3 in the afternoon. The security guards newly recruited today all have a probation period of half a month, and Xiao Chen also plans to use this half month to examine everyone's character and so on. In his opinion, the character of the members of the sharp knife he wants to create for Su Qing must be fine, otherwise the sharp knife will not only hurt others, but also hurt himself. If he had always been in Longhai, he would definitely not care about other things. Even if there were problems with individual members, he would easily solve them. However, he would not stay in Longhai forever, so he had to be more cautious. In addition, he planned to let Li Hanho to deter the sharp knife, so that no one would have other crooked thoughts. Minister Xiao, the files of all security personnel have been prepared. There was a knock on the door, and Tong Yan came in from outside, interrupting Xiao Chen's wild thoughts. Well, Tong Yan, you've worked hard today. Xiao Chen smiled and nodded, and stood up. I still have to report to Assistant Qin, right? Yes. Haha, let's go together. Okay. Tong Yan smiled and nodded. Although an accident happened today, the recruitment was still successful. She should be able to become a regular employee, right? Thinking of Xiao Chen's ruthlessness at that time, her heart trembled again. In the future, she should stay away from Minister Xiao. This man is too violent and terrifying. What's wrong with you? Xiao Chen noticed that Tong Yan was staring at him with a strange expression, and asked in confusion. Ah? No, nothing. Tong Yan was a little flustered, and hurriedly shook her head and walked out faster. Xiao Chen looked at Tong Yan's back and frowned. What is this girl thinking? Forget it, think whatever you want. Women have too much meat on their chests, so their minds are hard to guess. Arriving at Qin Lan's office, Xiao Chen knocked on the door. Come in. Assistant Qin, I'm here to report to you. Oh, it's Tong Yan, sit down. Qin Lan saw Tong Yan and nodded with a smile. Okay, thank you Assistant Qin. Tong Yan sat down, straightened her back, and prepared to report meticulously. Looking at Xiao Chen again, he was much more casual, sitting on the sofa without sitting properly, pouting and said unhappily, Sister Lan, are you ignoring me? You won't let me sit down? Qin Lan rolled her eyes at Xiao Chen, I don't let you sit down, and I don't see you standing. Well, am I not more self-conscious? Qin Lan was too lazy to pay attention to this guy, and said to Tong Yan, talk about today's recruitment. Okay, Assistant Qin, today. Tong Yan nodded and reported today's work in detail, including the unexpected situations that occurred. As the person involved, Xiao Chen was a little bored, took out a cigarette, lit it, and then looked around boredly. Suddenly, his eyes fell on Qin Lan's chest, and then moved to Tong Yan's chest. He secretly compared in his heart, which of the two girls' breasts is bigger. Well, it seems that Qin Lan's is still a little bigger. What are you looking at? Qin Lan had long noticed this guy's obscene gaze, and asked suddenly. Look. Xiao Chen subconsciously wanted to say look at the chest, but suddenly realized that it was wrong, and changed his words when the words came to his lips, look at the scenery outside the window, it's really beautiful. Qin Lan rolled her eyes and did not expose this guy, Xiao Chen, I didn't expect you to be so powerful. If I had known there would be such a wonderful scene, I should have gone to see the excitement. Haha, what's powerful or not, just a few jumping clowns. Xiao Chen chuckled. If Tong Yan hadn't been there, he would probably have added a sentence like I am more powerful in some aspects, do you want to try it? Really? It seems that you are going to become the patron saint of Qingqing Company. Qin Lan chuckled, but a strange flash flashed in the depths of her eyes. Hey, should I ask Mr. Su for a raise? Xiao Chen asked with a shameless face. You can try. Xiao Chen shrugged, feeling a little bored. Sister Lan, it's okay if I don't raise your salary. Tong Yan has worked hard on this recruitment. Didn't you promise to make her a regular employee in advance? Qin Lan nodded and looked at Tong Yan. Well, you did a good job this time. In addition to being able to be a regular employee in advance, this month's salary will also be paid according to the regular employee. It is a reward for your hard work. Thank you, Assistant Qin. Tong Yan was overjoyed and said excitedly. Haha, work hard. Yeah, I will work hard and not let you and Mr. Su down. Tong Yan stood up and expressed his attitude seriously. Yeah. The two stayed in Qin Lan's office for a while and then left. Minister Xiao, thank you for speaking well for me just now. Tong Yan said gratefully as soon as she left. Haha, it's nothing, you did a really good job. Xiao Chen smiled and said, congratulations, you finally became a formal employee. Thank you, I will work hard, and when I get paid, I will treat Minister Xiao to a meal. It can be seen that Tong Yan was really excited, and even forgot the idea of staying away from Xiao Chen. Haha, okay. Xiao Chen agreed very honestly. He couldn't ask for more to have dinner with a beautiful woman. Tong Yan regretted it after she finished speaking, but seeing that Xiao Chen had agreed, she could only nod and secretly comfort herself. Minister Xiao should not be so violent to her, right? Minister Xiao, I have to go back and get busy. Thank you for taking care of me these days. Haha, you're welcome. Minister Xiao, goodbye. Yeah, goodbye. Xiao Chen looked at Tong Yan's back and grinned. Would this girl be on guard against him like a pervert? Back at the security department, Xiao Chen saw Ding Li and others gathered around the computer watching something. Are they watching a porn movie? That's too much. They didn't even call me. Xiao Chen was a little angry and coughed loudly. Ding Li and others heard the cough and turned around. Seeing that it was Xiao Chen, they quickly greeted him. What are you looking at? Brother Chen, we are watching the local news. Something big happened in Longhai again. What happened? Xiao Chen was stunned, thinking of something. Isn't it just that the bank was robbed? Hey, now not only the bank was robbed, just now, another armored car was robbed. Xiao Chen was stunned again, the armored car was robbed. Or did that group of people do it? Yes, it's the 4 robbers who are on the run. Damn, these guys are too brave. A security guard said. Xiao Chen frowned. Are these guys really crazy because of poverty? First they robbed a bank, and then they robbed an armored car. Isn't it too crazy? This is the rhythm of being an enemy of the country. Judging from the equipment of these bandits, they are definitely not ordinary people. Didn't they consider the consequences? No matter how strong they are, no matter how sophisticated their weapons are, if they provoke the country again and again, they will definitely be crushed by the state's violent machine. What awaits them will be hell. I guess they have figured it out. If they rob once, they will die. If they rob twice, they will die too, so they keep committing crimes. Another security guard speculated. Xiao Chen shook his head secretly when he heard this. He felt that something was wrong. This matter should not be as simple as it seemed on the surface. But then he laughed. Why should he worry about it? They can have whatever purpose they want. As long as it is not against the Su sisters, even if they blow up Longhai, it has nothing to do with him. Besides, there are policemen. If the police are not good, there is also the state's violent machine. With hundreds of special forces, even the most powerful bandits will die. Hey, the bank makes so much money, and now it is robbed, it deserves it. Ding Li said with some gloating. Bang! Xiao Chen slammed his head on Ding Li's head and said unhappily, do you have to be so gloating? Okay, go away and do what you need to do. The security guards grinned and dispersed. Xiao Chen returned to the office and just lit a cigarette when his cell phone rang. He looked at the number on the screen and was stunned. The sun was rising from the west? Why did this little girl call him? Hello, Xiao Meng, what's the matter? Although it was strange, Xiao Chen still answered the phone. Brother Chen, what are you doing? Su Xiaoming's sweet voice came from the receiver. Xiao Chen shuddered when he heard Su Xiaoming's sweet voice. Did this girl take the wrong medicine? Brother Chen, you haven't got off work yet? You're not next to my sister, right? Ahem, Xiao Meng, is there something wrong with you? Can we talk about it? Xiao Chen couldn't help but say. Okay, Brother Chen, he has issued a challenge to you. A challenge? For what? You want to fight me? One-on-one or in a group fight? Xiao Chen said with some amusement. It's not a fight, it's a race with you. Racing? I don't have time. Xiao Chen blew out a smoke ring and put his legs on the table. A person like me who makes hundreds of thousands of dollars every minute, how can I have time to play with a little brat? Tisk, you're not scared, are you? Why should I be scared? Haven't you seen my driving skills? Then why don't you accept the challenge? I don't have time, it's boring. But I've already accepted the challenge for you. I've already accepted the challenge. If you don't race, how can I survive in school? This is your business. What does it have to do with me? Xiao Chen, you. Su Xiaoming was furious, but then her voice became sweet again. Brother Chen, just agree? Okay, let's not talk about it. Your sister is looking for me. Xiao Chen couldn't stand Su Xiaoming's sweet voice. Goosebumps appeared all over his body. He threw down a sentence and hung up the phone. Beep. Listening to the beep in the receiver, Su Xiaoming was angry. This bastard actually dared to hang up her phone? Did he give him face again? Sister Xiaoming, did the racing expert agree? Several boys and girls asked nearby. Damn it, no, but don't worry, he can't escape from my grasp. Oh, Sister Xiaoming, if it doesn't work, just use the beauty trap. A girl with a lollipop in her mouth said with a smirk. Get lost, am I a prostitute? Su Xiaoming rolled her eyes, but she was a little tempted in her heart. Beauty trap? How about trying it tonight? Episode 42, Beauty Trap. At 5 o'clock, Xiao Chen and Su Qing left the company and went to the number 1 middle school. You didn't go to the laboratory today? No need to work overtime? Yeah, it's almost done. The next step is to deal with the approval procedures. Oh, it's quite troublesome. Isn't it enough to have a prescription and then produce it? Xiao Chen asked, curiously. Su Qing shook her head. Ordinary cosmetics and ordinary pharmaceutical cosmetics can be produced, but real pharmaceutical cosmetics still need to be reviewed and approved. They are pharmaceutical. Oh. Xiao Chen nodded. He didn't know much about these things, so he didn't ask any more questions. I heard from Sister Lan that there was an unexpected situation at the job fair today? Well, it was just a small situation. Ren Kuan and Lu De Kue came to make trouble, and I sent them away. That's good. How did the two of them get together? Haha, I don't know. Maybe it's because the enemy of my enemy is my friend? Su Qing smiled when she heard Xiao Chen's words. You've only been here for a few days, and you have quite a few enemies. Maybe because I'm handsome, so I tend to be jealous. Xiao Chen said narcissistically. But I'm a little curious, why is the Flying Eagle gang silent? According to my guess, Lu Dague should have brought the Flying Eagle gang to cause trouble. I've heard a little about this. The Flying Eagle gang seems to be having an internal conflict. Internal conflict? Xiao Chen was stunned, then laughed. I thought it was an internal conflict, so they can't take care of me for the time being. Why, from your expression, it seems like you're eager for them to cause trouble? No, I just don't like being remembered by others. Isn't there a saying that you don't fear thieves stealing, but you fear thieves remembering? Hee hee. The two chatted all the way to the number 1 middle school in the city and picked up Su Xiaoming. Wow, Brother Chen, you look so handsome today. Su Xiaoming said in surprise as soon as she got in the car. Xiao Chen and Su Qing both looked at each other strangely. This girl is abnormal. Sister, don't you find that Brother Chen is very handsome? Xiaoming, are you okay? Do you have a fever? Su Qing raised her hand and touched her little sister's forehead. Xiao Chen looked at Su Qing's actions and rolled his eyes wildly. What did that mean? Praising myself for being handsome means I have a fever? Qing noticed Xiao Chen's expression and felt a little embarrassed. Well, Xiao Chen, that's not what I meant. You are indeed very handsome. I just think that this girl is a little abnormal today. Xiao Chen pouted. He naturally knew why Su Xiaoming praised him. She was just begging him to help her race. However, this matter could not be told to Su Qing, so he could only pretend not to know. Sister, I am not abnormal. I suddenly felt today that I was really too much in the past. How could I embarrass Brother Chen? Brother Chen is here to protect us. We should be grateful, right? Xiaoming, tell me the truth. Are you up to something bad? Su Qing knew her younger sister well, staring at her, and asked. How could that be? Su Xiaoming felt a little empty in her heart. Did she behave a little too much? Really? Su Qing looked at her younger sister suspiciously. I told you, don't make trouble, did you hear me? Oh, how can you not believe in your well-behaved and lovely sister? Su Xiaoming pouted. Well, I believe Xiaoming is the best. Su Qing smiled and touched her little sister's hair. Tell me, did anything interesting happen at school today? Su Xiaoming secretly glanced at Xiao Chen and secretly decided to wait until she got home to find a chance to tell her, otherwise her sister would be suspicious. Thinking of this, she became normal and began to talk about the interesting things that happened at school, which made Su Qing laugh from time to time. Back at the villa, Su Qing changed her clothes and cooked, and in order to avoid Su Xiaoming pestering herself, Xiao Chen also ran into the kitchen to help. This made Su Xiaoming grit her teeth secretly. This damn bastard must have done it on purpose. However, thinking of the car race with she could only suppress her temper. She had to beg him for this matter. The dinner was very rich, 3 people, 6 dishes. Brother Chen, how about a drink? After working all day, it's time to relax, right? Su Xiaoming took out a bottle of red wine and offered her courtesy. Su Qing looked at the red wine in her younger sister's hand, her eyes narrowed. This girl is really willing to part with it. This is her treasured Romani Conti. Romani Conti? Or the collector's edition? Xiao Chen recognized it at a glance, and was also a little surprised. This wine is called Romani Conti? Su Xiaoming looked down and blinked at Xiao Chen. Brother Chen, this wine is estimated to be several thousand yuan. Am I being generous? Xiao Chen and Su Qing's mouth twitched. Several thousand yuan? A few thousand yuan, can't even buy this bottle, okay? No, you can't even buy a bottle stopper, okay? What's the expression on your face? Is it very expensive? It won't be more expensive than the legendary 82 Lafite, right? Xiao Meng, this bottle of red wine in your hand can be exchanged for several bottles of 82 Lafite. Xiao Chen looked weird. If this bottle of wine was opened, Su Qing would probably want to beat this girl to death, right? So expensive? How much is it? Su Xiaoming was also a little dumbfounded and looked at her sister. Hundreds of thousands. Ah? Hundreds of thousands? Su Xiaoming was completely dumbfounded. She just wanted to show some courtesy and took a bottle of red wine casually. How could it be worth hundreds of thousands? Moreover, she had already taken it out. If she put it away again, wouldn't that be bad? Hey, Xiaoming, let's drink some beer. Xiao Chen took the initiative to speak. When Su Xiaoming heard this, she instantly felt that Xiao Chen was a good person. Just as she was about to nod and put away the bottle of red wine, she heard her sister speak. Just drink this bottle. Su Qing smiled and took the red wine from her younger sister. Sister, this wine is too expensive. No matter how expensive the wine is, it is for people to drink, isn't it? What's the point of leaving it there? Su Qing smiled lightly, picked up the wine opener, and prepared to open this bottle of Emperor red wine worth hundreds of thousands. Su Qing, forget it. It's so hot out here. It would be more refreshing to drink some iced beer. Xiao Chen also tried to dissuade her. Although in his eyes, this bottle of Emperor red wine was nothing, it was still quite extravagant to drink a bottle of red wine worth hundreds of thousands of dollars for dinner. Hee, I haven't had Romani Conti for a long time. I almost forgot what it tasted like. This should be the last bottle. Let's drink it. Su Qing smiled, but a strange look flashed in the depths of her eyes. After drinking the last bottle, she would have given up the idea completely. Xiao Chen noticed the strange look in Su Qing's eyes and wondered what was going on. Xiao Meng, go get the decanter. Su Qing said, opening the cork. Sister, are you really going to drink it? Su Xiaoming felt a little distressed. Damn it, it would be a waste for Xiao Chen to drink it. It's just a bottle of red wine. Oh. Romani Conti poured into the decanter, scarlet like blood, filled with an alluring aroma of wine. Come on, try it, drink slowly, and wake up slowly. After a while, Su Qing poured wine into the glasses of the 3 people and said with a smile. Su Xiaoming picked it up, took a sip, and smacked her lips. This sip costs thousands of yuan. But why is it not as good as a few dollars of coke? Xiao Chen and Su Qing shook their heads helplessly. It was a waste to give this wine to Xiaoming. They noticed each other's actions, smiled at each other, and gently touched the glasses, and the red wine rippled. A dinner, because of this bottle of red wine Emperor, was eaten extra slowly. The Su sisters who drank the wine had a slightly red face, revealing a bit of temptation. Xiao Chen's eyes were a little straight, and he kept reminding himself in his heart that this was Lao Su's sister. Although Lao Su said many times that he wanted him to be his brother-in-law, he didn't say whether he wanted him to be his eldest brother-in-law or his second brother-in-law. Finishing the meal and clearing the table, Su Qing went back to her room to take a shower. Xiao Meng, it's getting late. You should go back and rest early and stop watching TV. Su Qing said to her younger sister before going upstairs. Although Su Xiaoming wanted to chat with Xiao Chen, she was afraid that her sister would be suspicious, so she nodded and went upstairs with him. Seeing Su Xiaoming go upstairs, Xiao Chen breathed a sigh of relief. If this girl kept pestering him, he really couldn't refuse. After staying in the living room for a while, he got up and went back to his room. First, he called Li Hanho to ask about his mother's situation today, then took off his clothes and walked into the bathroom. "Where are you? Back to your room?" Su Xiaoming came out of the room in her pajamas and looked downstairs at the living room. No one was there. She glanced at her sister's room, and after making sure that her sister had rested, she went downstairs and came to the living room. Will this guy agree? What if he doesn't agree? Is he really going to use a honey trap? Su Xiaoming's face flashed with hesitation, but after thinking of something, she gritted her teeth, and a somewhat generous expression appeared on her pretty face, and she walked towards Xiao Chen's room. Click. Su Xiaoming gently pushed open Xiao Chen's door, took a deep breath, and walked in. Chen, huh? Where is he? Su Xiaoming looked at the empty room and was stunned. Did he go out? But then, her eyes fell on the messy clothes on the bed. She was stunned at first, and then she realized something and subconsciously looked at the bathroom door. Click. At this moment, the bathroom door opened, and Xiao Chen came out of it in brand new underwear, humming 18 touches. Reach out and touch my sister's butt, it's like a piece of white cotton. Reach out and touch my sister's thigh, it's like white silk of winter melon. Just when Xiao Chen was humming to a climax, he suddenly noticed Su Xiaoming standing by the bed. His voice stopped abruptly, and he was stunned. Why was she here? Su Xiaoming was even more dumbfounded. She looked at Xiao Chen, who was naked except for a pair of underwear. Her mind went blank. However, she quickly reacted. Her face changed, and she opened her mouth to scream, "Ah! Don't scream!" Xiao Chen looked at Su Xiaoming's actions and got anxious. If she screamed and led Su Qing down, how could she explain it clearly? The next second, he jumped up and pounced on her. Episode 43. Conditions. Bang! Xiao Chen threw Su Xiaoming onto the bed, pressed his naked body on her, and covered her mouth at the same time. Shoo, don't scream. Su Xiaoming was pressed under Xiao Chen, and she became even more flustered. She struggled hard and scratched with her hands. Squeak. Xiao Chen took a breath of cold air. Su Xiaoming's nails left a scratch on his face. Bang! Before Xiao Chen could make any move, he felt another sharp pain in his crotch. His face twisted immediately. Damn, his balls were broken. Su Xiaoming struggled wildly, and her knees hit Xiao Chen's crotch again. Damn it, if you move again, I will force you. Xiao Chen was angry, pinched Su Xiaoming's arm, and clamped her big white legs with his legs, pretending to be fierce. Su Xiaoming was so scared when she heard Xiao Chen's vicious voice that she dared not struggle, but she was extremely panicked inside. It was over. Would he really force himself on her? Thinking of this, her eyes were red. She secretly regretted running to Xiao Chen's room, and she shouldn't have had any idea of honey trap. Now she was trapped in the tiger's mouth. She decided that if Xiao Chen really did something to her, she would struggle desperately and then shout loudly. As long as her sister heard the sound, she would definitely come down to save her. But her sister was not Xiao Chen's opponent. What if Xiao Chen, who was in a beastly state, abused her sister again? Wouldn't she have harmed her sister? No, she must not harm her sister. One thought after another burst out in Su Xiaoming's mind, making her even more panicked. What should she do? Xiao Chen looked at Su Xiaoming's constantly changing expression, wondering what this girl was thinking. However, he didn't have time to study the girl's psychology. His balls were still cramping and painful, which made him grit his teeth secretly. Damn it, this little girl was too cruel. Xiaoming, if you don't scream, I will let you go, how about that? Feeling the hot and delicate body exuding the breath of youth under him, Xiao Chen couldn't stand it anymore. If he pressed down again, something bad would happen. Su Xiaoming's eyes rolled and she nodded vigorously. You really won't scream? Xiao Chen was a little worried. What if he let go, and this little girl screamed again? What if she attracted Su Qing? Okay, then I'll believe you this time. Xiao Chen had no choice. He couldn't keep this posture. He couldn't bear it very well. If there was any reaction, he would be a hooligan. How could he be worthy of the dead old Su? He slowly released his hand that was covering Su Xiaoming's mouth, but his eyes were fixed on her. If something went wrong, he would cover her mouth again immediately. Su Xiaoming didn't scream. She had her own worries. What if she really angered this guy and hurt her sister? If something really happened, just let herself bear it alone. Xiao Chen was relieved to see that Su Xiaoming was honest, and asked, "Why did you come to my room?" Su Xiaoming looked at Xiao Chen's face close at hand, and then smelled the faint man's breath. Her body trembled slightly, and she had some reaction for a while. However, she woke up quickly and moved her body slightly. "Can you go down first?" "Ah? Oh, I forgot." Xiao Chen nodded hurriedly. After making sure that Su Xiaoming was still emotionally stable, he got off her and stood on the ground. But then, his eyes were straight. "Damn, dare you not be so tempting?" Looking at it, Xiao Chen, who had just been holding back, finally couldn't help it and reacted. When Su Xiaoming came in order to implement the beauty trap, she wore pajamas. To be more precise, it was a nightgown. After struggling just now, the nightgown had been lifted up, revealing her white thighs. Su Xiaoming was completely relieved when she saw Xiao Chen go down. It seems that this guy is not a beast. However, when she noticed Xiao Chen's strange eyes and such obvious physiological reactions, she suddenly realized that something was wrong. She looked down and exclaimed. She hurriedly got out of bed, put down her nightgown, and covered her exposed white legs. "Well, that's it, I didn't mean to look at it. In fact, I didn't see anything." Xiao Chen coughed dryly to cover up his embarrassment. Su Xiaoming was furious when she heard this. "You rascal, I'll fight you." "Hey, Xiaoming, you can't beat me. Besides, you're wearing a nightgown, aren't you afraid of exposing yourself when you lift your legs?" Xiao Chen reminded her very kindly. Su Xiaoming gritted her teeth and loosened her clenched fists. Taekwondo relies entirely on legs. If she kicked her legs, she would really be exposed. Besides, it's not my fault. Xiao Chen wiped the blood stains on his face, feeling a little aggrieved. Damn it, who did I offend? I was scratched on the face and kicked in the balls. If it wasn't a bit indecent to touch the balls in front of Su Xiaoming, he would probably go to investigate whether his little brother was injured. Then who told you not to wear clothes? I just went to take a shower. Have you ever seen anyone take a shower with clothes on? Besides, this is my room, okay? You came to my room without my consent, and now you blame me? Xiao Chen was a little unhappy. I'm obviously the victim, okay? Su Xiaoming opened her mouth. After all, it seemed that Xiao Chen was not to blame for this matter. However, she couldn't swallow this breath when she thought about being pressed and watched. She said angrily, "Then can you put on your clothes now?" Xiao Chen looked down at the tent and felt a little embarrassed. It was really a bit inappropriate to be naked in front of this little girl. "Forget it, I'm too lazy to argue with her, just put on your clothes." "Xiaoming, why are you in my room?" Xiao Chen asked as he put on his clothes. "Why, I can't come to your room. This is my home." Seeing Xiao Chen put on his clothes, Su Xiaoming felt more confident and courageous, and was no longer afraid of anything happening. "Xiao Chen, tell me, how do we solve this?" After a brief panic and anger, Su Xiaoming suddenly realized that this was an opportunity to give in to Xiao Chen. Otherwise, wouldn't it be a waste to be oppressed and watched tonight? This is a big loss. How do you want to solve it? Xiao Chen's expression became strange, looking at Su Xiaoming standing by the bed. "Help me to race a car, and I will pretend that what happened tonight didn't happen. Otherwise, I will tell my sister and ask her to kick you out." "Xiaoming, didn't we agree that you wouldn't kick me out?" "That was before. You took advantage of me tonight." Su Xiaoming got angry when she thought of what happened just now. "Oh, then go tell your sister." Xiao Chen shrugged indifferently, looking Su Xiaoming up and down. "Then I will tell her that you didn't sleep late at night, ran to my room in your nightgown to seduce me, and asked me to help you race a car." You. Su Xiaoming almost exploded, pointing at herself. I seduced you? Are you sure? Then tell me, why did you run to my room dressed like this?" Su Xiaoming opened her mouth. What to say to use the beauty trap. "Alas, I have kept my virginity for more than 20 years, and you have seen it all. Forget it, since we are so familiar with each other, I will not let you be responsible." Su Xiaoming was so angry that her face turned red. This guy is so shameless. Seeing that Su Xiaoming was about to explode at any time, Xiao Chen did not dare to go too far and said, "Xiaoming, if you want me to help you race, it is not impossible, but I have a condition." "What condition?" Su Xiaoming looked at Xiao Chen vigilantly and hugged his chest subconsciously. Xiao Chen rolled his eyes. Damn it, what did he think of me? I haven't thought of it yet. I will tell you when I think of it. But it must not be messy. If it is, you can refuse. How about it? Su Xiaoming thought about it and nodded. Okay, I promise you. Well. Xiao Chen smiled. Tell me, why do you have to race again? Don't ask more about these, just help me win a game. Xiao Chen raised his eyebrows and didn't ask any more questions. Anyway, he would know when the time came. I will notify you when the time is agreed. Don't tell my sister. Haha, I know. Xiao Chen nodded and deliberately yawned. Now, should you go back to sleep? Or, do you want to sleep here tonight? Don't be a hooligan with me, who wants to sleep here? Su Xiaoming said unhappily, and left Xiao Chen's room quickly. After this incident, she never wanted to come in again. It was too scary. Haha. Xiao Chen closed the door and walked into the bathroom. Looking at the scratches on his face, he smiled bitterly. If Su Qing saw it tomorrow, how should he explain it? It would be better if I brought the golden wound medicine. Forget it, go to sleep. Xiao Chen shook his head, too lazy to think about it, turned off the lights and lay on the bed, and soon fell asleep. The night sky outside the window was dark, without a single light. I don't know how long it took, but Xiao Chen, who was sleeping in the darkness, suddenly opened his eyes, and a cold light flashed past. The next second, he, who was originally lying flat, jumped up like a cheetah, without any pause, opened the window, and then jumped out. Just as he jumped out of the window, a black shadow quickly rushed towards the courtyard wall, from the door of the villa's living room. Want to leave? Xiao Chen looked at the black shadow dozens of meters away, shouted softly, and increased his speed. Whoosh! A sound of breaking through the air sounded, and a cold light shot out from the hand of the black shadow in front, heading straight for Xiao Chen's face. Xiao Chen paused and dodged sideways. This was a narrow flying knife, with a cold light flowing, a deadly guy. Taking advantage of Xiao Chen's pause, the black shadow jumped over the courtyard wall and disappeared from his sight. Damn it! Xiao Chen cursed the other party for being cunning. When he chased out, the other party had disappeared in the vast night and could not be found at all. Back in the courtyard of the villa, Xiao Chen looked at the flying knife stuck in the wall, his eyes narrowed. It was 3/4 into the wall. This strength must be that of a first-rate master. Who is this? Xiao Chen pulled out the flying knife, weighed it in his hand, and narrowed his eyes. Okay, since almost everyone is here, let's have a meeting. This is also the first time I have held a meeting of the entire security department since I took office, and it just so happens that we hired new colleagues yesterday. The security guards all sat up straight and listened carefully, more seriously than elementary school students. The old people in the company are all very clear about what kind of ruthless character Minister Xiao is, and the newcomers also witnessed his toughness yesterday and were really shocked. As for the security guards in the production department, they have also heard from colleagues here that although they are a little suspicious, they dare not provoke them easily. No matter what, he forced Lu Yanluo away, this is a fact. Director Gao, I thought about it yesterday and decided to implement a rotation system. The staff from the company and the production department will take turns. Change shifts once a month, do you have any objection? Xiao Chen looked at Gao Ping and asked. Gao Ping shook his head and said, everything will be arranged by Minister Xiao. Okay, the entire security department will be divided into 4 groups in the future, 2 groups each in the company and production department. Whole meeting lasted for almost half an hour, and Xiao Chen also had a better understanding of each new security guard, especially those masters. It is worth mentioning that Xiao Chen promoted Ding Li to the position of team leader, which made many old people envious. The guy who was bullied before, just because he was close to the new minister, suddenly became a small official. After the meeting, Xiao Chen talked to Gao Ping alone again, and also had a preliminary understanding of the production department, and made an appointment to go over in the next few days. Damn it, there is nothing good about being a leader, there are so many worries. After Gao Ping left, Xiao Chen let out a breath and stretched his waist. Snap. There was a knock on the door, and Ding Li came in from outside. Brother Chen, there's nothing unusual. Haha, fishing requires patience, take your time, don't rush. Xiao Chen smiled. He arranged a new task for Ding Li. The first thing to do when he got to work was to check the surveillance they had secretly installed to see if there was anything to discover. Oh, Brother Chen, can I be a good team leader? Ding Li asked again with some trepidation. Why not? You have to believe in yourself. But I don't think I can do it. If I say you can do it, then you can do it. If you can't do it, then it's okay. Xiao Chen threw a cigarette to Dingley. I'm here to protect you, what are you afraid of? Just do what you have to do, don't let me down. Dingley took the cigarette and looked at Xiao Chen with some gratitude. He knew that Xiao Chen wanted to train him and exercise him. Brother Chen, don't worry, I promise I won't let you down. Haha, okay, I believe you, go ahead. Xiao Chen smiled and nodded. Although Dingley was cowardly and timid, he had a good heart and was loyal, so he was willing to treat him as his own. As soon as Dingley left, the phone on the table rang. Hey, Mr. Su, are you going out? Yeah, are you done? If you're done, let's go. I'll wait for you in the parking lot. Okay, I'll be down in 10 minutes. Yeah. Xiao Chen hung up the phone, thinking of something, took out a palm-sized knife from his pocket, carefully measured it, and played with it. This knife was left by the man in black last night. It was 3/4 into the wall, demonstrating her strength. Who is it? It seems that there is more than one vortex around Su Qing. And how much does she know? Xiao Chen narrowed his eyes. He always felt that Su Qing was hiding something from him. 10 minutes later, Xiao Chen met Su Qing in the parking lot. How is your side? Have you arranged everything? Su Qing sat in the co-pilot seat and asked. Yeah. Xiao Chen briefly talked about the duty arrangements of the security department, and finally said, I plan to strengthen security training. It would be best to find 10 to 20 people from them for special training. Oh? Haha, you don't want to train them into special security guards, do you? Su Qing asked with a smile. If you have this idea, I will leave after I help you solve the trouble. If you have a group of experts around you, you will not be so passive and dangerous when you encounter things in the future. Xiao Chen said seriously. When Su Qing heard this, the smile on her face slowly disappeared. Xiao Chen, do you think my elder brother can't come back from retirement? It should be. I can't. Xiao Chen's heart skipped a beat and he shook his head slowly. Oh. Su Qing was a little disappointed, but she didn't continue to talk about this topic. Do you know the way to the Municipal Drug Administration? Haha, if you don't know the way, don't you have a navigation system? Xiao Chen saw Su Qing change the topic, breathed a sigh of relief, smiled, set up the navigation, and rushed to the drug administration. After more than half an hour, the two arrived at the Municipal Drug Administration. Should I wait for you outside, or go in with you? Come in together. Okay. Xiao Chen nodded and went in with Su Qing. Maybe she had an appointment before, so under the guidance of the staff, they went directly to an office. Hello, Director Su. A man in his 40s was sitting in the office. Like most Chinese officials, he was fat, greasy, and a little bald. Well, President Su is here, please take a seat. The man smiled when he saw Su Qing coming, but when he saw Xiao Chen following behind him, his smile disappeared. Who is this? Director Su, he is my assistant, Xiao Chen. Su Qing introduced with a smile, this is Director Su. Hello, Director Su. Xiao Chen smiled and greeted Director Su. After all, he was an official and had to come to him for help, so he had to be polite. Well. Looking at Director Su's reaction, it was much colder. He nodded casually, then ignored Xiao Chen, and his eyes fell on Su Qing's chest again, revealing a strange smile. I didn't expect that President Su also found a male assistant, haha. Episode 45. Birdman? Seeing Director Su's lustful eyes and weird smile, Su Qing's smile faded a little and she put the materials in her hand on the table. Director Su, these are the review materials submitted by my company. Haha, there's no rush for this. President Su, please sit down and let's talk first. Director Su retracted his gaze from Su Qing's chest and looked at the staff member, Shaoli, go make 2 cups of tea for me and President Su. Okay. The staff member nodded, glanced at Xiao Chen, who was deliberately ignored by Director Su, and turned to leave. Mr. Su, your Qingqing company has developed rapidly in the past year. Now everyone in the industry is discussing what big move Mr. Su will make next. Director Su, you are too kind. Qingqing company has just started out, and its influence is even less. It only radiates the markets of several surrounding provinces and cities. Haha, Mr. Su, don't be too modest. Although Qingqing company has not yet expanded its business, the quality of its products is obvious to all. People in the industry are saying that once Qingqing company expands its business, their days will be even more difficult. When it comes to product quality, a hint of pride flashed across Su Qing's pretty face. Product quality is the foundation and life of a company's development. Our Qingqing company will always make good products. Please rest assured, Director Su. Don't worry, of course I am. What type of cosmeceuticals is this time? Director Su glanced at the information bag on the table and asked casually. It's a cosmetic for sensitive skin, including repair, hydration, isolation, etc. Oh, haha, it seems like a big deal. As they were talking, the staff brought in 2 cups of tea, one for Director Su and one for Su Qing. This time, she didn't even look at Xiao Chen. Come on, President Su, have some tea. Director Su smiled, picked up the cup and took a sip. I don't really like tea, Xiao Chen, you drink it. Su Qing frowned slightly and handed the cup to Xiao Chen next to her. Ah? Look at me, I forgot about you, my male assistant. Haha, I'm so sorry. Director Su patted his greasy forehead as if he had just seen Xiao Chen again. Although he said so, there was no embarrassed expression on his face. Haha, thank you, President Su. Xiao Chen took the tea with a smile. He was too lazy to look at Director Su. As long as he could get the job done quickly, he could ignore him. President Su, you are really good to your male assistant, haha. Director Su said meaningfully. Director Su, when will the review process start? Su Qing asked, without picking up Director Su's words. Well, we need to see if your materials are complete. So, you can give them to Xiaoli later, and then let her submit them. As for how to review, we will discuss it later. Director Su said in an official tone. Director Su, can't the review be accelerated? Su Qing frowned. This series of new products, publicity, and other aspects have been put on the agenda. If they can't be put on the market by then, the losses and impact will be huge. Boss Su, we have our own procedures, and we have to do things according to the rules and procedures. If everyone comes and shouts, help us speed up the review, what will happen to us? Director Su said this, grinning, of course, with my friendship with Boss Su, I will definitely take care of it. Thank you very much, Director Su. Haha, Boss Su, how about having dinner together tonight? Director Su put down the teacup and said with a smile. Su Qing was stunned. Eat? This? Su Qing was a little embarrassed. She had heard about Director Su's virtue before and knew that he wanted to eat for other reasons. Why, with our friendship, can't we even have a meal? Director Su's voice sank. No. I wanted to talk to General Manager Su about how to speed up the review. If it's difficult, then forget it. Director Su's face also sank. Su Qing's face changed slightly. This was very clear. If you don't eat, you can't review in advance. Director Su, General Manager Su has something tonight. How about I accompany Director Su for dinner? Just when Su Qing was hesitating and didn't know what to do, Xiao Chen spoke. As a man, he knew what Director Su meant better than Su Qing, especially the scum staring at Su Qing's chest just now, so naked and unconcealed. You? Director Su's face sank a little more and glanced at Xiao Chen. Haha, yes, I promise Director Su can eat well, drink well, and have fun, how about that? Xiao Chen smiled and nodded, hinting. Want to eat with me? Why? You are just a small assistant, and you don't know how you got to the top. Director Su was very upset because of Su Qing's hesitation, so he spoke bluntly and directly, and also with some other meaning. Xiao Chen's smile was slightly restrained. This guy didn't accept the toast and wanted to drink a penalty. Director Su, I'm sorry, I really have something tonight. Su Qing heard Director Su's words so unpleasant, and was afraid that Xiao Chen would be impulsive, so she hurriedly spoke. Something? Okay, haha, I won't force it. But the audit matter has to follow the process. Okay, I have something to do too, I won't see you off. Director Su was too lazy to hide his face. He had been thinking about Su Qing for more than a day or two, and this time he must take her down. Then Director Su, goodbye. Su Qing didn't say anything else, nodded, and stood up. Take the review materials and give them to Xiaoli, and follow the procedure. Director Su knocked on the table and said. Okay. Su Qing picked up the information bag and left the office with Xiao Chen. Fuck, you already found a pretty boy assistant, and you're still pretending to be pure in front of me. Director Su looked at the closed office door and cursed, if you want to pass the review, you have to lie on the bed and let me fuck you, otherwise, forget it. After leaving the office, Su Qing handed the review materials to the staff and went through a series of formalities. How long does it take to review the product according to the normal process? 2 to 3 days. Oh, that's fine. Su Qing calculated the time. After the preliminary review, the trial product can be reviewed. It's still in time for the product to be put on the market. Xiao Chen watched from the side and shook his head secretly. Normally it takes 2 to 3 days, but can Director Su, who didn't achieve his goal, review it normally? He must have made all kinds of difficulties and tripped him up. After leaving the drug administration, Su Qing looked at Xiao Chen apologetically and said, "I'm sorry. If I had known, I would have gone in by myself." Haha, nothing. Xiao Chen smiled and shook his head. "Where are you going now? Back to the company?" "Yes, back to the company, wait for notification from here." "Okay." The two returned to the company, Su Qing continued to work, and Xiao Chen also returned to his office. "Brother Chen, I'm here." A dull sound of footsteps sounded, and then the huge figure of Li Hanho appeared at the door of the office. "Haha, Dahan, how is your mother?" Xiao Chen looked at Li Hanho and smiled. "My mother is much better. Dean Li goes to see her every day. Oh, by the way, Yao Lao also went today and said that my mother has recovered very well." Li Hanho grinned. "Brother Chen, I don't know how to thank you." "Okay, stop it, don't say these things anymore in the future." Xiao Chen shook his head and asked, "What else did Yao Lao say?" "He said that Brother Chen, you are the reincarnation of a magpie, the contemporary Hua Tua." "What?" Xiao Chen was confused. "The reincarnation of a magpie? Damn it, that's the reincarnation of BNK, right?" Xiao Chen thought carefully and said with a roll of his eyes. "Oh, yes, BNK, look at my brain." Li Hanho smiled naively and scratched his head. "I think they are almost the same." "Almost the same? Very different, okay? One is a bird, the other is a human, how can they be the same?" Xiao Chen said unhappily. "Hee, it's okay as long as you understand." Xiao Chen really couldn't argue with this guy, and couldn't help shaking his head. Didn't Yao Lao say when he would leave? He said that he would return to Beijing in 2 or 3 days. Oh. Xiao Chen nodded, but wondered in his heart whether he should find time to visit him again. "Brother Chen, my mother said that she has nothing to do, so let me follow her and do her job well." "What is my job? Stand at the gate?" "Don't worry about your work, just accompany your mother first, and I will arrange it for you when the time comes. By the way, you haven't eaten lunch yet?" "No." "Let's go to the cafeteria to eat. After eating, you can go back to the hospital." Xiao Chen looked at the time. It was already time for lunch. He had been busy all morning and was a little hungry. Oh. Li Hanho nodded. Anyway, he just listened to whatever Brother Chen said. He would eat if he was told to eat, and he would fight if he was told to fight. The two left the office and called Ding Li again, and went to the cafeteria together. Ding Li and Li Hanho got along well. One envied and admired the other's strength, and the other could get along well with anyone as long as he didn't bully him. "Dahan, how come you are so powerful? Can you teach me?" On the way to the cafeteria, Ding Li couldn't help asking. He wanted to become stronger, and he wouldn't be bullied if he became stronger. "No, my grandfather said that Bajiquan and Pai Guachuan must be practiced from childhood." Li Hanho shook his head. "Oh, forget it then." A look of disappointment flashed across Ding Li's face. "Yes, you have to practice kung fu from childhood. He has missed the best time to practice kung fu." "Haha, don't be disappointed. If you want to become stronger, I will give you a chance." Xiao Chen noticed Ding Li's disappointment and said with a smile. "Really?" Ding Li was overjoyed. "Of course it's true. Let's talk about it in a few days. Let's go and eat first." Oh. The three of them chose a better position, and then Ding Li and Li Hanho went to get the food. Then, Li Hanho became a beautiful scenery in the cafeteria. There was no way, who made him eat so much? Xiao Chen looked at Li Hanho, who had eaten 11 steamed buns, and couldn't help but smile bitterly. This guy was extremely strong and his appetite was really amazing. After eating, under the gaze of many people, the three left the cafeteria and headed for the company gate. "Dahan, do you want me to take you?" "No, I can just run back. I just ate a lot and I have strength." "Minister Xiao, someone is looking for you." Before reaching the company gate, a security guard ran over quickly, his face a little pale. "Who?" The bald snake from the Flying Eagle Gang. Flying Eagle Gang? Bald snake? Xiao Chen narrowed his eyes. Is he finally here? Episode 46, The Eagle Gang is coming, 1/2. Upon hearing what the security guard said, Ding Li's face changed drastically. Are the Eagle Gang here to take revenge? Dingzi, what does the Eagle Gang do? Li Hanho noticed Ding Li's face and asked curiously. An underground society, they are here to cause trouble. Ding Li's voice trembled unconsciously. The Eagle Gang hadn't come in the past few days, and he thought everything was fine, but he didn't expect them to come now. Oh, then beat them out. Li Hanho's eyes lit up when he heard that they were here to cause trouble. He was a little full from lunch, so he could just digest it. How many people? Xiao Chen looked very calm and asked lightly. 3. What? 3? Xiao Chen was stunned. If he had said 30 or even 300, he wouldn't be surprised, but why were there only 3? Could it be that they were also some so-called masters? Ding Li also widened his eyes. 3? Brother Zhang, are you sure it's not 300? Just 3. Bald Snake brought 2 younger brothers. They don't look like they are here to cause trouble. They said they have something to discuss with Minister Xiao. Something to discuss? Haha, let's go and see what they are up to. When Xiao Chen arrived at the security department, he met Bald Snake and his 3 men. When Bald Snake saw Xiao Chen, a trace of hatred flashed in his eyes, but he still subconsciously stood up from the chair, without the arrogance of last time. Brother Snake, right? What do you want to teach me this time? On the contrary, Xiao Chen sat down as soon as he came in, crossed his legs, and glanced at Bald Snake's bandaged wrist, and asked in a flat tone. Minister Xiao, I am here today on behalf of my boss. Although Xiao Chen's attitude made Bald Snake very unhappy, he did not dare to be arrogant. In addition to the painful memory of that day, he also got a piece of news from Lu Dague. Xiao Chen is a first-class master. In the underground world, second-rate masters are already very rare, not to mention first-rate masters. So, he had to be wary. And the reason why he came to talk today was because Xiao Chen was a first-rate master. Your boss? Who is he? Xiao Chen took out a cigarette, and Ding Li lit it for him very discerningly, took a puff, and blew out a smoke ring. My boss is Huang Xing. I don't know him. Xiao Chen shook his head. Although he had been to Longhai several times before, he had only come into contact with the top forces. Second-rate black societies like the Flying Eagle Gang were really not in his eyes. So, he really didn't know what kind of bird this Huang Xing was. Bald Snake didn't think so. In this area, who doesn't know Master Xing? Did this guy do it on purpose? The 2 younger brothers behind him were also angry. If Bald Snake hadn't specifically told them not to be impulsive when they came, their fists would have hit Xiao Chen in the face. Brother Chen, Huang Xing is one of the hall masters of the Flying Eagle Gang. Ding Li introduced in a low voice. Oh, so he's a hall master. I thought he was the boss of the Flying Eagle Gang. Xiao Chen curled his lips. The boss of the Flying Eagle Gang was not worthy of his attention, let alone the hall master. The corner of the Bald Snake's mouth twitched a few times, and his face darkened a little. The Flying Eagle Gang has a total of 4 major halls. My boss Huang Xing is the head of the Falcon Hall. There are a total of 3,000 brothers in the Falcon Hall. 3,000 brothers? Haha, that's a lot. Xiao Chen smiled, but his tone suddenly turned cold. Are you trying to scare me? Tell me, what does your boss want to talk about? My boss is hosting a banquet at New World at 8 o'clock tonight and wants to invite you to dinner. The Bald Snake suppressed his anger and said in a deep voice. Invite me to dinner? Haha, Hongmen banquet? Xiao Chen smiled a little playfully. No, I just want to get to know you. Why, don't you give me face? Face? I don't even know who your boss is, why should I give him face? Is he shameless? Xiao Chen said bluntly. Boy, what the hell are you talking about? My boss invited you to dinner, so I think highly of you, don't give me face. A little brother behind the Bald Snake finally couldn't help it. In this area, who dared to confront their Flying Eagle Gang? This kid is so arrogant. Bang. Before he could finish shouting, Li Hanho's face sank, and he kicked him away. The latter fell heavily on the wall, and a mouthful of blood spurted out, scarlet and dazzling. If you curse Brother Chen again, I will destroy you. Li Hanho said in a muffled voice and returned to Xiao Chen. The bald snake looked at the little brother who vomited blood, and then looked at Li Hanho. His eyes shrank. Who is this guy? Another little brother was about to say a swear word, but he swallowed it back. He looked at his companion and secretly felt lucky that he said it a step later, otherwise, he would have to vomit blood and lie down. Minister Xiao, what do you mean? I came with sincerity. The bald snake asked with gritted teeth. It's meaningless. If you can't control your mouth, you will be beaten. Xiao Chen said indifferently, as for the sincerity you mentioned, where is it? Why don't I see it? I just brought 2 brothers with me, isn't that sincerity? Hehe, if you brought 200 people with you, your other hand would be broken now, do you believe it? You. Bald Snake took a few deep breaths and deliberately provoked him. Minister Xiao, as a top-notch expert, don't you have the courage to attend the banquet? Top-notch expert? Xiao Chen was stunned, then laughed. It seemed that this bald guy didn't know what happened yesterday. Minister Xiao, I've already told you. It's up to you to decide whether to go or not. But I have to remind you that if you are an enemy of the Flying Eagle gang, you won't be able to take a single step in Long Hai. Are you threatening me? I'm just reminding you. Bald Snake said, and then said to his younger brother, let's go. Brother Chen didn't let you go. Li Hanho opened his arms to block the way, staring at Bald Snake, and said in a muffled voice. Bald Snake paused. If he had been in his previous temper, he would have kicked him long ago, but after seeing how terrifying this guy was just now, he didn't have the courage. What's more, there was a top-notch expert next to him. Dahan, let them go. Xiao Chen said. Yes, Brother Chen. Li Hanho nodded and made way. Bald Snake breathed a sigh of relief and was about to leave with his little brother when a voice came from behind. Go back and tell your boss that I will be on time tonight. Okay. Bald Snake saw Xiao Chen agreed, a fierce look flashed in his eyes, and he left without looking back. Brother Chen, are you really going tonight? As soon as the Bald Snake left, Ding Li became anxious and asked hurriedly. Haha, someone invited me to dinner, of course I have to go. Xiao Chen said with a smile. This is the Hongmen banquet, and it's obviously not a good banquet. Ding Li became even more anxious and reminded him. Hongmen banquet? Haha, you think too highly of them. Xiao Chen smiled contemptuously. Brother Chen, someone invited me to dinner, can you take me with you? Li Hanho grinned and said. Xiao Chen looked at Li Hanho and smiled. Although this guy was honest, he was not stupid. He obviously knew what was going to happen tonight, but he still proposed to go, and even found such an excuse. Okay, I'll take you to dinner. Hee, then I have to exercise more in the afternoon so that I can eat more in the evening. Ding Li was speechless. This was the Hongmen banquet of the Flying Eagle gang. What did these 2 people think of it? A wedding banquet? However, he looked at Xiao Chen and then at Li Hanho, gritted his teeth and said, Brother Chen, since you want to go, I'll go with you. Xiao Chen was not surprised that Li Hanho wanted to go together, but Ding Li's proposal to go surprised him a little. It was not because of anything else, but because this kid was too timid. When he heard that the Bald Snake was coming just now, he was so scared that his legs trembled. It can be seen how scared he was. It is estimated that in his eyes, this Hongmen banquet tonight is obviously a dragon's den and a tiger's lair. But even so, he still proposed to go together, which surprised Xiao Chen and moved him a little. Ding Li, the 2 of us can go, you don't have to go. Xiao Chen shook his head. He thought a lot and he would leave after a while. Li Hanho was strong and not afraid of revenge, but Ding Li couldn't. What if the Flying Eagle gang took revenge on him in the future? So, he didn't want to drag Ding Li into the water. Brother Chen, you all can go, why can't I go? Is it because I'm timid? Or do I have no strength? Yes, I am timid and have no strength, but Brother Chen, you are my boss. If you want to go to the dragon's lair, how can I not go with you? Ding Li said loudly. Dragon's lair? Xiao Chen sneered in his heart, but at the same time, he was also moved by Ding Li's loyalty. Ding Li, I don't let you go, because it's for your own good. You don't have to get involved. Brother Chen, didn't you say that I should practice my courage? I think tonight is an opportunity, just take me with you. Ding Li pleaded. Brother Chen, let Dingzi go with you, I will protect him. Li Hanho looked at Ding Li's pitiful appearance and spoke for him. Xiao Chen looked at Li Hanho, then at Ding Li, hesitated for a moment, and said in a deep voice, Ding Li, I don't want you to act on impulse. Have you considered the consequences of going? If you go with us, once the talks tonight fail, not to mention the danger at that time, the Flying Eagle gang will also retaliate afterwards. At that time, you may be in danger or even die. When Dingley heard this, his face changed, and he even trembled a few times. It was obvious that he was very scared. Now, do you still want to go? Don't go, I don't want anything to happen to you. Xiao Chen said seriously. No, Brother Chen, I want to go. Dingley took a deep breath and calmed down. No matter how dangerous it is, I will go. Xiao Chen saw that he was so determined and stopped persuading him. He nodded and said, okay, then we brothers will go together tonight. Yeah. Xiao Chen smiled and patted Dingley on the shoulder. Don't be afraid. With me and Dahan here, you will be fine. I'm not afraid. What's there to be afraid of? If my head falls off, it's just a scar as big as a bowl. 18 years later, I'll be a brave man again. Dingley was about to cry when he said this. Yes, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just a meal. Li Hanho also said loudly, but he soon frowned and asked in confusion, but, Dingzi, why are you trembling? I didn't update at noon because I was locked in the coding software. I will update it together tonight. There will be updates later. Make up. Episode 47. Inconvenient. After agreeing with Li Hanho on the time and place to meet in the evening, Xiao Chen sent him away. After staying in the office for a while, he received a call from Qin Lan, which made him quite helpless. They came to conscript men again. Why is being a man so tiring? When he arrived at Qin Lan's office, as expected, a pile of documents was placed on the table, waiting for him to deal with them. Sister Lan, where is the reward you mentioned? You order me around for nothing all day long? Even a donkey needs some fodder, right? Xiao Chen sat down, took out a cigarette, lit it, and couldn't help shouting. Are you a donkey? Of course I'm not a donkey, I'm just making an analogy. Haha, okay, then I'll feed you some fodder tonight. Xiao Chen's eyes lit up when he heard this, and he rubbed his hands. What fodder? I'll treat you to dinner tonight. Xiao Chen rolled his eyes wildly. That's it? Yes, do you really want to eat the fodder that donkeys eat? Sister Lan, you will have no friends if you do this. You are pretending to be confused when you know the truth. I don't understand, then if you don't want to eat, what do you want to eat? Qin Lan asked with a smile. I want to eat you. Xiao Chen made up his mind and said with a shameless face. He has been in the flower garden for many years, and he knows a truth very well, that is thick-skinned people can eat as much as they want, thin-skinned people can't eat. This is not only a golden rule for picking up girls, but also applies to hooking up. When it's time to strike, strike. As long as you risk it, you can push the goddess down on the bed. Isn't there another saying? Try it, there is a 50% chance of success. Don't try, then it will be 100% unsuccessful. Eat me? Qin Lan's eyes were as charming as silk. She walked in front of him, bent down, put her hands on his neck, and exhaled like orchids. Really? Xiao Chen looked through Qin Lan's wide-open collar and looked at the white inside, his eyes widened. Of course it's true. Qin Lan listened to Xiao Chen's obviously heavier breathing, smiled charmingly, and said with a bit of playfulness, but, I'm on my period. Xiao Chen paused and collapsed on the sofa. Damn it, I was already reacting, and I almost took off my pants and took up my gun on the spot, but I said I'm on my period? Damn, do I have to be so cruel? Haha, be good, help me with the documents, I have something to do with Mr. Su. Qin Lan smiled triumphantly and left with her butt twisted. Xiao Chen looked at Qin Lan's twisted butt and licked his lips. Damn it, when your period is over, I'll let you know how powerful men are. Xiao Chen stayed in Qin Lan's office for the whole afternoon until the end of work. Except for taking advantage of her verbally occasionally, Qin Lan didn't give him any chance at all, which made him understand that although this woman looks casual, she has her own bottom line. If you want to push this woman, you still have a long way to go. Don't you really need me to treat you to dinner tonight? No. Xiao Chen shook his head. He still had to attend the Hongmen banquet tonight. Oh, that's right. You're guarding two beauties, General Manager Su and Xiao Meng, so why would you want to have dinner with me? Qin Lan pretended to be sad. No, I really have something to deal with tonight. What is it? Do you need my help? Qin Lan saw that Xiao Chen was serious and stopped joking. Xiao Chen shook his head and said, it's just a small matter. I can handle it myself. Well, if there's anything you can't handle, call me. Okay. Go ahead. Well, goodbye, Sister Lan. Xiao Chen said, his eyes turned, and he slapped Qin Lan's buttocks, then ran out. Before he finished speaking, he disappeared at the door of the office. Qin Lan touched his buttocks and laughed and cursed, bad boy. But after thinking about what he had just said, his smile faded a little. Is it related to the people from the Flying Eagle gang? In the office next door, Su Qing was packing up. Seeing Xiao Chen coming in, she smiled and said, helping Sister Lan with documents again? Yeah, I'm more capable. Haha, yes, I want to give you a raise. You're doing 3 jobs at once. No, I think your current salary is good enough. Su Qing couldn't help shaking her head. This is the first time I've met someone who wants a raise, but doesn't want it. Haha, are you done? Let's go pick up Xiao Meng and take her home. Hearing this, Su Qing paused while packing up. She felt a little strange, but soon returned to normal and nodded with a smile. A few minutes later, the two drove out of the company and headed for number 1 middle school. Su Qing, I have something to do tonight. Oh, then you go and do it. I can pick up Xiao Meng myself. If you need a car, just drive away and I'll take a taxi to school. Don't worry, just go after dinner. Oh. By the way, what's the name of Director Su today? Xiao Chen thought of something and asked. Su Gang, what's wrong? Haha, nothing, just asking. Xiao Chen smiled and shook his head, but muttered in his heart, this grandson better not go too far, otherwise, just wait for bad luck. The two chatted and came to the number 1 middle school in the city to pick up Su Xiaoming. This time, Su Xiaoming did not praise Xiao Chen for being handsome as soon as he got in the car, but ignored him. This made Xiao Chen smile bitterly. It seems that this girl has not forgotten what happened last night. Back to the villa, after dinner, at around 7 o'clock, Xiao Chen drove away. Sister, where is Xiao Chen going? Su Xiaoming, who was curled up on the sofa, watching Korean dramas and eating potato chips, asked. I don't know, he said he had something to do. Su Qing said, took a potato chip from her younger sister, and looked at the screen. What's this about? The recent popular Descendants of the Moon, don't you know? I don't know, I don't pay attention to these Korean dramas. Oh, it's very popular now. This Song Zhongya is called The National Husband. Just this guy? Su Qing couldn't help shaking her head. He's not that good, not as handsome as Xiao Chen. Huh? Su Xiaoming widened her eyes and looked at her sister. What does this mean? Qing noticed her younger sister's expression and realized that she had said something wrong, so she quickly covered up and said, well, I really don't know what you little girls are thinking about all day long. You keep watching Korean dramas and changing husbands. When you were watching My Love from the Moon before, you liked Unicorn, and now you're watching Descendants of the Moon and like Song Jin Duck. Do you change your husband for every Korean drama you watch? Sister, don't change the subject. You're not in love with Xiao Chen, are you? Su Xiaoming stared at her sister and asked seriously. What nonsense are you talking about? I've only known him for a few days, how could I possibly fall in love with him? That's not necessarily true. There are too many people who fall in love at first sight. Forget about love at first sight. There are also many who meet on the first day and get married on the second day. I don't believe in love at first sight at all. As long as the feeling is right, it's useless to say anything. Xiao Meng, don't talk nonsense. He's just here to protect us and will leave after a while. Sister, I'm just worried that you will go astray. There are plenty of good men in the world, you'd better not hang yourself on Xiao Chen's crooked tree. Hey, how can you talk like that? If Xiao Chen hears it, he will be unhappy. I don't care whether he is happy or not, Achoo. Xiao Chen, who was driving, sneezed violently. He rubbed his nose. Damn it, who is scolding me? It won't be Bald Snake, right? When I see him later, if he dares to be arrogant, break his other hand first. Half an hour later, he came to the place where he had agreed to meet with Li Hanho and Ding Li, but neither of them had arrived yet. About 5 minutes later, Li Hanho and Ding Li arrived at the same time. Brother Chen. Yeah. I just went out to eat, so I'm late. Ding Li explained. Dingzi, why are you eating? Aren't we going to eat tonight? Li Hanho looked at Ding Li and asked curiously. Ding Li was speechless and stared at Li Hanho. Did this idiot really think he was going to eat tonight? What, don't you care about being full? That's too stingy. Isn't it? Li Hanho thought of something and got angry. Ding Li patted his forehead and looked at Xiao Chen. Brother Chen, you didn't eat either, did you? I had a little meal, but I'm not full. I'll eat more later. Xiao Chen said with a smile. Ding Li was even more speechless. Are these two really going to eat and drink tonight? Dahan, how did you get here? Xiao Chen looked at Li Hanho. The second municipal hospital is dozens of miles away from here. Did you run here? I ran here, and I got lost halfway. Li Hanho scratched his head and said. Brother Chen, how far is the place where we eat from here? I'm a little hungry. Li Hanho asked a more concerned question. Not far, just turn left at the intersection ahead. Oh, that's good. If I run dozens of miles again, I'll be starving to death. Li Hanho smiled happily. Xiao Chen shook his head helplessly. Okay, since we're hungry, let's go. It's almost time for the appointment. Brother Chen, are we just going like this? Don't we need to make some preparations? Ding Li shivered again when he heard that they were going. What preparations do you want to make? When I came here just now, I had already set the quick dial to 110. If something goes wrong, I can call the police immediately. Xiao Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Is it really that necessary? However, thinking about this guy's courage again, he felt a little relieved. It was already very good that he dared to come. Also, I bought a knife on the road just now. Ding Li looked around and took out a palm-length spring knife from his pocket. What's the use of this knife? Li Hanho took it and applied a little force. With a click, the blade broke. Why did you break it for me? Ding Li was dumbfounded. This was the self-defense weapon he prepared. Okay, they are gangsters, they all use machetes, this little thing is really useless for you. Let's go, don't be afraid, nothing will happen. Brother Chen, I'm not afraid, I'm really not afraid. Ding Li's face was pale and he muttered. Well, it's good that you're not afraid. Xiao Chen nodded. Ding Li, you get in the car, Dahan, you run after him, the car can't fit you. Okay, then go slower, I'm afraid I can't keep up. Haha, okay. Xiao Chen pulled Ding Li into the car, and the latter sat in the passenger seat, still shivering and muttering, I'm not afraid, I'm a brave man again in 18 years. Hey, Ding Li, let me warn you first, this is President Su's car, don't fucking pee in the car. Otherwise, she will fire you. Episode 48 Going to the Banquet, 1/2. Under the night sky, Longhai is bustling with wine and lights. At the entrance of Xintiandi restaurant, a bald snake with gauze wrapped around his wrist is looking around, as if waiting for someone. Behind him, dozens of young men in black are standing. They don't have the ruffian look of ordinary gangsters, but exude a murderous aura. Here we come. Suddenly, the bald snake said and took a few steps forward. Several black bullet-head cars slowly stopped at the entrance of Xintiandi. The car doors opened and a man in his 40s got out of it. Brother Xing, you are here. The bald snake smiled when he saw the visitor, with a bit of respect. Master Xing. Of young men in black bowed respectfully and greeted in unison, with a deafening momentum. Such a scene attracted the attention of many pedestrians, especially some young people who came to Longhai for tourism. Their eyes lit up. Could it be a gangster movie? However, some people recognized the man's identity, Huang Xing, the leader of the Falcon Hall of the Flying Eagle Gang. People on the street called him Master Xing. Yeah. Huang Xing nodded, and his eyes swept over dozens of young men in black. Big Snake, let them all go first. Yes. Bald Snake nodded respectfully. Huang Xing stopped talking and walked into the New World restaurant with a few confidants. Everyone go first. Bald Snake waved his hand and walked into the restaurant. 7 or 8 young men in black surrounded them and reached out to grab the 2 young men. What are you doing? Help. The 2 young men panicked. Why doesn't this look like a movie? The 2 young men were dragged into the alley next to them, and then the sound of fists and kicks and screams came out. Everyone go. Bald Snake threw down a sentence, turned around and walked into the restaurant, and came to the 4th floor. Big Snake, is everything arranged? Xing stood by the window, holding a cigar, looking at the night view outside, and asked in a deep voice. Brother Xing, everything has been arranged according to your instructions. There are 100 knife men on each side. As long as you throw the cup, they will rush in and chop that kid off. The bald snake touched the gauze on his wrist and said fiercely. Okay. Huang Xing nodded with satisfaction. Master Xing, do you need to make other arrangements? No, although he is a first-class master, we also have first-class masters here, so don't be afraid of him. Add 200 knife men, if he agrees to be used by me, it's fine. If he doesn't agree, then I will let him know that the Flying Eagle Gang is not something he can provoke. Huang Xing said, turning his head to look at a man in a plaid shirt behind him. Sun Fei, once you start, you must cripple or kill him. Otherwise, if you provoke a first-class master, there will be endless troubles in the future. I know. The man called Sun Fei nodded. Bald Snake looked at Sun Fei and felt relieved. This was the #1 expert in their Falcon Hall and also a first-rate expert. With him, they could definitely fight Xiao Chen. However, when he thought of the burly man who looked like a brown bear, he said with some worry, Brother Xing, in addition to Xiao Chen, there is another big guy next to him. I'm worried that he will come tonight. Oh? What strength? I don't know, but I feel that it should be around second-rate. Bald Snake guessed. Second-rate? Huang Xing frowned, but then pointed at a few confidants with his hand holding a cigar. Don't worry, they all carry firearms. No matter how powerful they are, they can't avoid bullets. Carrying firearms? That's enough. They can't escape tonight. Bald Snake was completely relieved when he heard this. No matter how high the kung fu is, they are afraid of kitchen knives, let alone guns. Big Snake, if he can really be used by me, I hope you will consider the overall situation and stop arguing with him. Don't worry, the boss won't let you suffer in vain. Huang Xing looked at the Bald Snake, handed him a cigar, and said in a deep voice. Yes, Brother Xing. The Bald Snake nodded, but he hoped in his heart that it would be best if the boy continued to be arrogant, then he would be dead. The Flying Eagle Gang is an internal strife. If I can get promoted this time and become the leader of the Flying Eagle Gang, then your life will be much better. Otherwise, no one will have an easy life in the future, understand? Huang Xing's eyes flashed with coldness as he spoke. I understand. The Bald Snake nodded. By the way, what has Lu Dague been doing these 2 days? Tell him that the hall is in need of people now. If he is willing to come to help me, I will not treat him unfairly. Huang Xing thought of something and said slowly. Okay, wait for me to talk to him. Well, the rules of the underground world have changed a bit now. In the past, it was a competition of who had more people, but now it has become a competition of who has more masters. A first or second-rate master can change too many situations. I heard that Lao He invited 2 first-rate masters from somewhere a few days ago. If it's true, it's not good. Brother Xing, then let's also spend money to hire first-rate masters? Hehe, do you think first-rate masters are cabbages? Let alone the Flying Eagle Gang, even the 3 major gangs don't have many first-rate masters. First-rate masters are often not available with money. When Huang Xing said this, he glanced at Sun Fei. If he hadn't happened to save this guy, he wouldn't have worked so hard for him. However, when he thought that he might have another first-rate master under his command tonight, a smile appeared on his face. He believed that the conditions he offered would make Xiao Chen unable to refuse. On the street, a scene that stunned passers-by appeared. A black Maserati President was driving at a speed of 40 to 50 miles per hour in front, and a burly young man was chasing after it from behind. The burly young man was about 2 meters tall, and from a distance, he looked like a blind man, with 2 long legs swinging back and forth, and each step was nearly 2 meters. Brother Chen, slow down, I can't keep up. Xiao Chen heard the roar from behind, glanced at Li Hanho, who was chasing him from behind through the rearview mirror, smiled, and slowed down the car. Haha, after such exercise, I guess De Hanho will have to eat a few more bowls of rice or a few steamed buns later. Ding Li was no longer as scared as before, and he had figured it out a little bit. Anyway, he was going to go, so there was no point in being afraid. De Han is such a good runner. I think he should go to the Olympics. Brother Chen, Dingzi, what are you 2 talking about? Before Xiao Chen could reply to Ding Li, a voice came from the car window. De Han caught up with them and grinned at them. I'm talking about how many bowls of rice you can eat later. Xiao Chen said with a smile. Oh, I don't know, about 10 bowls. Okay, don't be polite later, eat whatever you want, as much as you want. I know. Li Hanho smiled and nodded his big head. Brother Chen, Xintiandi is ahead. Ding Li pointed to a 4-story antique building in front and said to Xiao Chen. Well, you're not scared. Anymore? A little bit. Haha, you didn't pee in the car, did you? Xiao Chen joked. No. Ding Li shook his head hurriedly. This is about a man's dignity. As he spoke, the Maserati stopped on the roadside 50 meters to the left of the entrance of Xintiandi. This was the location Xiao Chen chose on purpose. He didn't dare to park the car at the entrance. If a fight really broke out, they didn't have to worry about their personal safety, but what if the people from the Flying Eagle gang smashed the Maserati? Although they could be asked to pay money or a new car, this car belonged to Su Qing, so Xiao Chen thought it was better to be careful and park far away to be safe. Xiao Chen and Ding Li got out of the car, and Li Hanho also came over. Brother Chen, which place? That's it. We'll have dinner there tonight. Xiao Chen pointed to Xintiandi and said, let's go. Okay. Li Hanho's eyes lit up. He had been hungry for a long time. If he was given a pig now, he would probably be able to eat it. Xiao Chen and Li Hanho were in front, and Ding Li was behind, and they came to the entrance of Xintiandi. Stop, we don't accept guests here tonight. The two young men in black at the door stopped Xiao Chen and the other two. Huang Xing invited me here. Xiao Chen said lightly. Master Xing invited me here? Are you the Xiao Chen? The two young men looked at each other and asked coldly. Master Xing? Huh, now anyone dares to call him master? Xiao Chen sneered, take me to see him. The two young men were furious and cursed in their hearts, damn it, you don't have to be so arrogant now, Master Xing will give the order later, and I will fucking kill you. Come with us. Xiao Chen and the other two followed the two into the new world and looked around. This should be the property of the Flying Eagle gang. There is no guest tonight. In addition, he also felt a faint murderous atmosphere. There should be many people ambushing around. Li Hanho's intuition is also very sharp. He looked around, and the original honest smile on his face disappeared, and a fierce light flashed in his eyes. Ding Li, on the other hand, followed behind tremblingly and found nothing, but he knew that tonight's banquet would definitely not be a good one. The group took the elevator to the 4th floor. As soon as they got out of the elevator, they saw 4 young men in black standing on both sides. Stop, we need to search you. The 4 young men blocked Xiao Chen's way. Everyone, raise your hands. Episode 49, The Banquet at Hongmen, Part 1, 1/2. Hearing the words of the black-clothed youth, Xiao Chen raised his eyebrows. Body search? Hurry up, raise your hands. A black-clothed youth pushed Ding Li, who was standing at the back. Ding Li shuddered and subconsciously raised his hands. And you? Another black-clothed youth pointed at Xiao Chen and was about to touch him. Bang. Before his hand could touch Xiao Chen's clothes, he was kicked out by the latter. I don't like being touched by men, don't touch me. Xiao Chen's voice was very cold. Fuck, you dare to touch me. Other black-clothed youths were furious and rushed towards Xiao Chen with their fists clenched. Bang. Xiao Chen didn't move at all, while Li Hanho shook his body like a human tank and directly knocked the 2 black-clothed youths out. Hit him. A young man in black saw his companion suffer a loss, roared, took out a machete from the side, and slashed at Li Hanho fiercely. Li Hanho's eyes turned cold, and he dodged the opponent's attack by leaning sideways, and kicked him, and the latter flew out with blood. Stop. Bald Snake appeared. He looked at the little brother who fell to the ground, and his face flashed with anger. Minister Xiao, why did you hurt my people? Xiao Chen looked at the bald snake and said coldly, remember, Huang Xing invited me tonight, not me to ask for his forgiveness. So, pay attention to your attitude. Brother Snake, they don't allow body search. Haha, you are a guest, no need to search. Before the bald snake could speak, Huang Xing came out. He looked at Xiao Chen for a few times and was secretly surprised. Such a young first-class master? Haha, you are Minister Xiao, right? Hello, I am Huang Xing, the head of the Falcon Hall of the Flying Eagle gang. When Huang Xing looked at Xiao Chen, the latter was also looking at him. He was of medium build, with a bad face and a little fat. He looked a bit like a big brother in the society. Yes, I am Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen nodded, his tone was flat, and he had no intention of shaking hands with Huang Xing. What a joke, they have already ambushed him, waiting to chop him into pieces, and he still wants to shake hands. Huang Xing looked at Xiao Chen's attitude, a cold light flashed in his eyes, but he didn't show anything on his face. Minister Xiao, please come in, we can eat and talk, how about it? Okay, Dahan, let's go in and eat. Okay. Li Hanho nodded. Finally, we can have dinner. We are almost starving. Huang Xing glanced at Li Hanho. Is he the guy that Dash said? He looks very strong. However, thinking about his arrangements and preparations, he didn't care. No matter how powerful he is, can he dodge bullets? Today, this is his home court. He can act in this play as he wants. Xiao Chen took Li Hanho and Ding Li inside, while Huang Xing winked at the bald snake, who nodded and made a gesture. This scene was all in Xiao Chen's eyes, but he didn't care. He dared to come today, so he was ready for anything. Minister Xiao, please sit down. Okay. Xiao Chen sat down and glanced at Sun Fei in a flowered shirt. He should be a master. Hee, what does Minister Xiao like to eat? Huang Xing asked with a smile. Do you have a menu? Ah? Huang Xing was stunned. He was just being polite, but this guy took it seriously? He even wanted a menu? Damn, is he really stupid or just pretending to be stupid? Doesn't he know what the banquet is about today? Why, such a big restaurant, no menu? Xiao Chen frowned, his tone a little unhappy. Yes, of course there is. Huang Xing suppressed his anger and waved his hand. Give the menu to Minister Xiao, let him order the dishes carefully and eat well. Yes. Xiao Chen took the menu and handed it to Li Hanho casually. Dahan, order whatever you want to eat. Thank you, Brother Chen. Li Hanho smiled and nodded, took it, opened it, and was not polite. He ordered more than 10 dishes in one breath, and they were all hard dishes, either fish or meat. Enough? Xiao Chen asked with a smile. Yeah, enough. Oh, by the way, give me another braised lion head. Li Hanho thought of something and shouted. Huang Xing's mouth twitched a few times. Damn, do you really think you are here to have dinner tonight? If the talks fail later, I will chop you into meat paste and make braised lion's head. Ding Li, what do you want to eat? Master Huang is treating, you're welcome. Xiao Chen looked at Ding Li, whose face was pale. I don't care. I'm not hungry. Ding Li shook his head and stammered. Oh. Xiao Chen ordered a few more dishes, then threw the menu on the table. Master Huang, what else do you want to eat? Huang Xing clenched his hands under the table, then loosened them and forced a smile. It's almost done. What shall we drink? Maotai, please. Okay, let's cook. Hurry up. Huang Xing waved his hand, and the waiter left quickly. Minister Xiao, I asked you to come here today because of the conflict a few days ago. I think it's just a misunderstanding. What do you think? Haha, Master Huang said it was a misunderstanding, so it's a misunderstanding. Xiao Chen smiled. If he could simply put this aside, he wouldn't bother to make a big deal out of it, but there was a prerequisite, that the other party didn't go too far. Okay, that's great. Huang Xing nodded with a smile, and finally felt a little better. Minister Xiao, as the saying goes, there is no acquaintance without fighting. I'm holding a banquet today, in fact, I also want to make friends with you. Haha, I don't want to be enemies with the Flying Eagle gang either. With Minister Zhao's words, we are not enemies. That day, the big snake ran over to collect protection fees, and had a conflict with you, and also learned a lesson. Huang Xing said this, looking at the bald snake sitting next to him. The bald snake noticed the boss's gaze, although he was unwilling in his heart, but still picked up the tea with one hand. Minister Xiao, what happened that day was my fault. I'll take tea instead of wine first, and then punish myself with 3 cups later, how about it? Haha, I forgot about what happened that day. Xiao Chen chuckled, picked up the tea and drank it, but he was thinking about why the food hasn't come up yet. Don't say it, I'm really a little hungry. The atmosphere in the private room seemed to be getting better and better. Huang Xing was not in a hurry to mention other things. He chatted casually and mentioned the Flying Eagle gang from time to time. The dishes came up. Li Hanho, who had been silent all the time, looked at the dishes with good color, fragrance, and taste. His eyes suddenly lit up, like a sleeping wild beast that suddenly woke up. Ding Li looked at Xiao Chen and Huang Xing, who were talking and laughing, and he was relieved. It seemed that although it was a hangmen banquet, it was developing in a good direction. There should be no fighting. Come on, Minister Xiao, drink, I toast you a glass. Huang Xing picked up the wine glass and looked at Xiao Chen. Yeah. The two clinked their glasses and then drank the mitai in the glass. Huang Xing slowly put down his wine glass. Just as he was about to speak, he saw Xiao Chen had already started eating without any courtesy. While eating, he was communicating with the big fool, Dahan, try this, it tastes pretty good, and that. Yeah, Brother Chen, this tastes really good. But this braised lion's head is not as good as the one in our company cafeteria. Li Hanho was eating so much that his mouth was full of oil, and he almost swallowed the plate. Haha, eat slowly, no one is going to snatch it from you. Yeah. Minister Xiao, let's put aside the previous conflict for the time being, does she also apologize to you? As for his injury, it's his own fault, what do you think? Huang Xing organized his words and spoke. Okay. Xiao Chen nodded happily, and then waited for Huang Xing's next words. I heard from Dashi that Minister Xiao is a first-rate expert? Huang Xing lit up a cigar and asked, while puffing out smoke. Haha, what first-rate or second-rate? I've only practiced for a few years, and I can't be on the stage. Xiao Chen smiled and shook his head. You're so young, and you can become a first-rate expert. It's already amazing. Have you been a soldier? Suddenly, Sun Fei, who had been silent, spoke up. You've been a soldier for a few years. Xiao Chen looked at Sun Fei, with a smile on his face. I've been in Longhai for a few days, and I've seen 4 first-rate experts. When did first-rate experts become cabbages on the street? Sun Fei didn't say anything else, and remained silent. 4? Huang Xing was a little surprised and curious. Who are they? Haha, isn't there one in front of you? Xiao Chen pointed at Sun Fei. Master Huang, tell me, what exactly did you come to me for today? Minister Xiao, how much do you get paid a month at Qingqin Company? Xiao Chen was stunned. Why did he bring this up? 20,000 yuan. Only 20,000? Haha, Minister Xiao, as long as you come to help me, I will pay you 100,000 a month. In addition to a monthly salary of 100,000, if you work with me, you will have a car, a house, and a woman. Huang Xing put forward his conditions. Xiao Chen was stunned again. It turned out that this guy had this idea. Minister Xiao, no, I'll still call you Brother Xiao. Brother Xiao, to be honest, I have a talent for you. Master Huang, don't you already have a first-class master under you? Xiao Chen was a little curious. Why did this guy come up with such an idea? Haha, who would complain about having too many talents under him? What do you think? Brother Xiao, following me is definitely more promising than working in Qingqin Company. Prospect? Haha, one is white and the other is black, how can they be compared? I really can't imagine what future there is for being in the black. Xiao Chen took a sip of wine and said to Huang Xing. Huang Xing's smile faded a little. Why, Brother Xiao, don't want to join the black? Or do you look down on me, Huang Xing? No, I don't look down on anyone. Everyone has their own ambitions. I hope that Master Huang will not embarrass me. Huang Xing's smile disappeared completely. It seems that Minister Xiao really doesn't give me face. Hey, are you so shameless? My brother said that he doesn't want to work with you. Don't you understand? Li Hanho swallowed his mouthful of meat and said in a muffled voice. When Li Hanho said this, Huang Xing and the bald snake and others all looked gloomy, and the atmosphere in the private room suddenly became cold, as if it had turned directly from spring to severe winter. Minister Xiao, is this what you mean? Huang Xing asked coldly, and changed his address from Brother Xiao to Minister Xiao. Yes, his meaning is what I mean. Xiao Chen said lightly while playing with the wine glass. Episode 50 Hongmen Banquet, Part 2, 1/2. Listening to Xiao Chen's words, the atmosphere in the private room became even colder, and even became somewhat tense. Even Li Hanho, a foodie, put down his chopsticks. He placed his right hand on the edge of the table, thinking to himself that if he made a move, he would overturn the table and slam the old guy down on the table. Ding Li's face, which had just recovered a little, turned pale again. He was fine just now, why did he suddenly become cold? So, Minister Xiao really doesn't intend to give me this face? Huang Xing slowly picked up the wine glass, raised his head and drank the wine in the glass, and then played with it in his hand. Bald Snake noticed the boss's action and tensed up his body. Is he going to smash the glass? It's not that I don't give face, but everyone has their own ambitions. Xiao Chen looked at the glass in Huang Xing's hand, glanced around, and raised the corners of his mouth slightly. He was playing in a fashionable way. Is smashing the glass a signal? Brother Xiao, I will call you Brother Xiao again. As the saying goes, a man who knows the times is a hero. Brother Xiao has practiced a good set of kung fu. Isn't it a pity not to use it? Xing eased the atmosphere a little. He was still a little unwilling. As long as he could get Xiao Chen's help again, he would have an 80% chance of becoming the leader of the Flying Eagle gang. Haha, my kung fu is not good enough. Why does Master Huang force me? Xiao Chen felt a little funny. Huang Xing held a hongmen banquet to recruit him as his subordinate. He never expected this. However, thinking of what Su Qing said about the internal strife of the Flying Eagle gang, he felt that it was vaguely related to this. After all, a first-class master can change too many situations. Now, Huang Xing just regarded him as a knife that can clear obstacles for him. Three-legged cat kung fu? Haha, my Flying Eagle gang has over 10,000 members, and how many of them have the three-legged cat kung fu of Xiao Laozi? My Falcon Hall has 3,000 brothers, but there is only Sun Fei. Huang Xing paused and said, as long as you follow me, what I said just now counts, and I can make you the deputy hall master of the Falcon Hall, below me and above 3,000 people, how about it? After saying this, the bald snake's face changed slightly, and he felt a little uncomfortable. He has worked for the Falcon Hall for many years, and now he is just a leader. Why can Xiao Chen become the deputy hall master as soon as he comes? Haha, since Hall Master Huang said so, if I don't agree, wouldn't it seem a bit ungrateful? Xiao Chen chuckled, Deputy Hall Master? He didn't even take the entire Flying Eagle gang seriously, let alone a mere Deputy Hall Master. In the final analysis, the two sides are not people of the same level at all. Huang Xing fought hard, and all he wanted to fight for was the position of the boss of the Flying Eagle gang. Xiao Chen's level is even higher. He doesn't take the second-rate forces like the Flying Eagle gang seriously at all, even though the Flying Eagle gang is really powerful in the vicinity and has more than 10,000 younger brothers. Brother Xiao, do you agree? Huang Xing was delighted. No. What? Huang Xing was stunned, and then his face turned gloomy. Are you kidding me? No, as the saying goes, everyone has their own ambitions. Xiao Chen said, and looked at Li Hanho. Dahan, are you full? I am full. What about you? Xiao Chen asked Ding Li again. I'm full too. Ding Li shivered. He didn't eat much at all. Oh, haha, we're all full, so let's get ready to go. Xiao Chen smiled and looked at Huang Xing again. Master Huang, since the conflict between us has been resolved, and we're full of food and wine, we won't bother you anymore. Thank you for your hospitality tonight. Huang Xing's face turned completely dark. What's going on? You really come here to eat and drink for free, and then wipe your mouth and prepare to leave? There is no such thing as a free lunch in the world. No, a free dinner, what good things are you thinking? Minister Xiao, are you really not going to think about it carefully? Hey, you are so slow, my brother Chen has said several times that he will not mix with you. Li Hanho frowned and said loudly. Okay. Since you don't want to mix with me, then we have to have a good talk about you hurting the big snake. Huang Xing also turned his face. Master Huang, didn't you just say that this matter is over? Xiao Chen pretended to be helpless, but sneered in his heart. If you follow me, then you are your own brother, of course you can let it go. But if you don't follow me, someone hurts my brother Huang Xing and slaps the face of my Flying Eagle gang. If I don't do something, how can I, Huang Xing, mix in the underworld in the future? Huang Xing said coldly. Then what do you want to do? Xiao Chen leaned lazily on the chair, too lazy to play anymore. When I do things, Huang Xing always gives an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. If you cripple one of my brother's hands, then give it back with a pair of hands. As for the two of them, leave one hand each. Huang Xing held the wine glass, revealing a ferocious look. Haha, cripple my hands? Why? Xiao Chen smiled lightly, this is a bit like the Hongmen banquet. Just relying on my Flying Eagle gang's tens of thousands of gang members, my Falcon Hall's 3,000 brothers, and the 200 swordsmen ambushing around. After Huang Xing finished speaking, he stood up suddenly and threw the wine glass to the ground fiercely. Pa! A crisp shattering sound was heard, and the wine glass broke into pieces, and the debris flew. Do it! Bald Snake was well prepared. Seeing the boss smashing the cup, he also roared, pulled out a machete from under the table, and chopped at Ding Li, who was closest to him. I've been waiting for you. Li Hanho also shouted. He had been holding the edge of the table with his right hand, and suddenly exerted force. With a clang, the entire tabletop flew up and hit Huang Xing and Bald Snake. Huang Xing quickly stepped back to avoid the falling tabletop, but Bald Snake was not so lucky. He was hit directly under it and screamed. At the same time, a large number of black-clad youths rushed in with machetes in their hands. Master Xing. The roar was in unison, and the momentum was amazing. Damn it, you are shameless. Huang Xing cursed, pointed at Xiao Chen with the cigar in his hand, and smiled grimly. Cut it for me. Yes. 100 knife men roared loudly and rushed towards Xiao Chen and the other two. Roar. Li Hanho roared, grabbed the table again, and smashed it down at the knife men who rushed over. The solid wood tabletop, coupled with his great strength, almost broke bones and tendons when it touched it, and the power was extremely huge. Bang bang bang. The dozen knife men who rushed in the front were all swept away by the table, and screams were heard everywhere. Kill. The knife men behind were all furious, and they rushed up more fiercely. Another part bypassed Li Hanho and rushed towards Xiao Chen and Ding Li, but they didn't know that what was waiting for them would be a more horrible end. Puff. Xiao Chen grabbed a machete, shook his hand and chopped it, blood splashed, and a knifeman's arm was chopped off by him. Ah. The knife man screamed miserably, and he could clearly see his arm trembling on the ground. Those who chop people should be prepared to be chopped. Xiao Chen said coldly, and rushed into the crowd with a knife. There was no mercy in his eyes. It seemed that he was not facing his own kind, but the beasts in the forest. Beside him, Ding Li looked at the dazzling scarlet blood, and his body trembled uncontrollably. This was the first time he encountered such a scene. It was rare that he didn't wet his pants. Especially the strong smell of blood, which made his stomach churn, and he had a strong feeling of wanting to vomit. What are you thinking about? Suddenly, Xiao Chen's voice rang in his ears, followed by a scream. Ding Li calmed down and saw Xiao Chen chopping off a knife man who was about to chop him. This scared him out of his wits, but at the same time, he was grateful. If it wasn't for Brother Chen, he would have been stabbed at least. I'm a little scared. What are you afraid of? Now that you're here, don't be afraid. Xiao Chen handed a bloody machete to Ding Li. Here, hold it. If anyone wants to chop you, you chop him. If they chop you once, you chop them back 3 times. I'm still afraid. Ding Li trembled, not daring to hold the bloody knife. Don't you want to practice courage? Don't you want to be a real man? Do you still want to be bullied? If you don't want to be bullied, then take this knife. Xiao Chen's voice turned cold, and he kicked away another knife man who rushed up. Hearing Xiao Chen's words, Ding Li gritted his teeth, stretched out his trembling hand, and held the bloody knife. I don't want to be bullied. Remember, the fear in your heart is often more terrible than the number of knives you take. I will overcome my fear. I'm not a coward. Ding Li held the machete tightly, and the veins on the back of his hand bulged. Okay, then go and prove yourself. Xiao Chen patted Ding Li on the shoulder. Since he chose to come, he must gain something. Xiao Chen was afraid that Ding Li didn't have the courage to swing the first knife, so he slapped a knife man in front of him and uttered a word, cut. Cut. Ding Li knew Xiao Chen's good intentions, gritted his teeth, closed his eyes, and chopped out with a machete. Fuck. Xiao Chen was also shocked when he saw Ding Li's knife. Why didn't he chop it, but he went for the vital part of the head? With this knife, even if he was weak, he had to cut the head of this knife man. Xiao Chen pulled the knife man slightly to let him avoid the head, and the machete fell on his shoulder. With a puff, the flesh and blood rolled, and blood splashed. Open your eyes, don't be afraid. Xiao Chen threw down a sentence, no longer caring about Ding Li, and killed the crowd again. In his opinion, if a man wants to grow, he has to get hurt. Others can't help too much. If Ding Li really becomes fearless because of a few knives, it's worth it. Ding Li opened his eyes and looked at the knife man lying in a pool of blood. He shuddered and almost dropped his machete. However, he still suppressed his fear, held the machete tightly, and muttered, whoever cuts me, I will cut him. Don't cut me, I don't want to cut you. Of course, his mumbling had no effect. 2 knife men still rushed towards him. In their eyes, this trembling guy was clearly a soft persimmon. Damn it, do you think I'm easy to bully? Ding Li looked at the knife man who rushed over, roared, raised the machete high, and then turned around and ran.